Your whole trajectory out of here for you is more out of your belt towards her ears instead of from your shoulders to her bit rings. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that trajectory matters because that's how you were just getting her to come more under herself and kick and fill the base of her neck more, was how you brought your hip forward and dropped into your feet a little bit and let your leg wrap. And all of a sudden, she was a little bit more through the base of her neck.
And I gave my biceps a little bit of a break.
Yeah, right? Because you're not getting pulled on.
Yeah. Good girl. Good girl.
So did that all make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
It totally made sense as I was riding through it as well.
Yeah,
That's
so,
really good.
so that's going to be very important to go into eventing for all of the phases. You're going to need to use your core a lot. What you just did is also going to make your dressage much easier.
Okay.
Right? Because
Yeah.
she's going to be rounder and softer and more rhythmical and less runny. Right?
Yes.
So all of a sudden, because even there, she got much cuter. She started to get rounder, and she made herself rounder at the base of her neck, and she started to use her hind legs more, and that just made her much prettier.
It felt a lot floatier.
Yes!
Rather than like on
You were
your
catching
forehead.
way more air.
Yes.
And so this is an important concept because what is rhythm?
A steady.
No, that's a good rhythm.
Oh.
What is rhythm? It's the sequence of their footfalls. Walk
So
is
consistency?
walk is 1, 2, 3,
Oh, okay.
4. Trot is 1, 2. Canter 1, 2, 3. Right? What is tempo?
An even rhythm?
No, you're describing a good tempo. Tempo is how fast they move their feet.
Okay.
So beats per second. So like she likes an aggressive tempo, as most thoroughbreds do, right? She likes to go faster to solve problems, right? That's tempo increase. What is cadence?
I don't know.
Okay, so cadence, there's all sorts of flowery definitions of cadence, like the elegance and beauty of the horse's gait. What the hell does that mean? Is that like art? I know it when I see it, right? Like, so we came up with a different definition in the ICP, which is cadence is the space between the beats.
Okay.
You were just getting more cadence, less tempo. That's what she needs.
And that's what you want.
That's what
we
she.
want.
That's what she needs. Well, some horses you say more tempo because
Yeah.
they're slow behind,
Okay.
right? That's when you want more tempo. But when they're slow and dawdly behind, she's not. She wants to go. So you got to say, well, I want you to go too, but I want you to take much bigger steps and take some time in the air while you're doing it, and then you'll be beautiful, right? And then she did it. She started to change her way of going, both in the trot and the canter. Do that for a month, she'll be much more capable of it, because that takes strength development. Because it takes strength to sit on your ass,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yes.
you need to develop the strength to do it. That's the segue into getting her to do that. And then she won't feel the need to run at the fences at the end of the approach because she'll feel stronger to her, right? She will believe in her hind legs more. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
So that's a little bit where I would see this all going in a good way,
Okay.
right? Does
Yes.
that make sense? So we've got a little gymnastics set up. I'm going to make it a little bit lower for the beginning, but it's going to be a trot in, and then one stride of canter, and she flows out over the oxer, and then you just let her canter around a little bit and see what the canter's like.
Okay.
And the gymnastic is set so that it asks them to do this a little bit.
Into rock.
Yes.
On the hind end.
So it's all about getting her to do that a little bit and load her hind end so that she wants to do it instead of her being made to do it. Like we go get a bigger bit and we say, sit down. I found that if you can talk the horse into wanting to do it, it's much better than attacking them like that. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she takes much kindlier to that then.
Well, yeah, thoroughbred mare.
Yes.
I grew up on them.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
At actually before COVID happened, the last regional finals we had here in eventing in New England, my barn took the tip award at every level.
Oh, my gosh.
So we had the best thoroughbred at every level.
No way.
Yeah, I was so proud of that.
That is so awesome.
I was
what?
so proud of it.
Even though I wasn't there, I'm proud of that too, because I'm a huge thoroughbred fan.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the right height, if you can make the front that high. So we're going to get a nice trot. You're going to drop into your feet, lift your hip to the rein, keep your shoulders away from her ears, look out past her ears to where you're going, gently moving your ankles closer together to press her up through that more uphill balance, and then take her to the cross rail, let her jump, one stride out over the oxer, canter away, have a nice canter circle, back to trot, do it again.
Okay.
And we're going to do that a couple of times.
Okay.
just to really have her trot into that little square oxer, have one canter stride, and have to get her shoulders up. Yeah.
Right from the ass.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, yeah.
Go girl, please. Good girl.
Super with your position. Keep stretching up to your hands. Yes, and that will make it easier to drop into your ankles as you turn your toes a little out to feel her with your calf. Feel her with your calf and your ankle more than your heel. Lift your hip to your outside rein. There you go. Keep the rhythm in your seat. Wrap your legs softly. Uh-huh. Awesome. Come around and do that again. Straighter, huh? Eyes up where you want to go, not down at the oxer. Lift your hip, post taller and slower. Go on. Whoa, your upper body. There, feel her steady? That was your core did that. Do it again. Stretch up, bring your hip forward, drop into your feet. Wait for it with your upper body. Just wait for it with a quiet leg around her. Awesome. Yeah. Look out, girl. Circle once. We're just not as quick as we used to be. Good. Just circle once. Lift your hip to your outside rein. Drop into your feet. Feel your hips come up to your hands and your shoulders get left behind. There, you feel how that's all in your back, not in your shoulders? Keep it there. Keep it in your back. Lift your hips. Keep her square on the left. Good. Better. Now inside heel down. Sit up over the outside hind. There you go. Feel her correct her balance there? Yeah. Circle again. No, bring that one corner up. Yeah. Good. And again. Good rhythm. Don't be sorry. That was actually a learning moment. Bring her back. Now, I love the entrance that time. Try to have the same entrance where the rhythm just stays the same like that. Just lift your hip forward, wait with your shoulders, quiet with your body. Awesome. Awesome. And then stretch up and walk. Feel her get her wither up there?
Huh?
Feel her get her wither up there?
I felt that giant launch up her.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So when you get her using herself like that all the time, she's going to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If we can steal cups from somewhere, I don't think we're going to use that. And maybe put the cancer sucks down and then put up to a rail over it. Hannah, can you make this whole thing that high? Good, now bring those top cups down one hole and put the rail on that. And now that I'm looking at it, leave that cup where it was and move the bottom up one. Yeah. And then spread it a couple inches, Hannah. Yeah, there you go. That's it. But then bow it, turn it so it's not bowed up. The rail. Yeah, there you go. Yes. Okay, so we're going to go down that line again. Now there's another element at the end now. So what you do when you land from the oxer is you drop into your heels and you stretch back up. Okay. And you, yeah. And then after you do that, ride a circle in the canter around these two fences.
Well, around them?
Yes.
Okay, so here canter circle, and should I break back down the trot or walk?
Yes, just be done after you've done a good circle around these fences.
Okay.
But I want to see what she does with the vertical at the end, and then I'm going to decide whether I'm going to leave it in for the next part or take it out and not worry about it.
Okay.
But what it teaches her is how to land off that oxer and then
Rock back on her hind.
And then don't gallop on your shoulder after that. Just, you got to recover and be ready. So that's why we put the little vertical in 2 strides out from the oxer, to just say, so after you roll over that oxer, you got to
come back to me.
and then go up again, right? And that just, it's sort of a very passive active way of just showing you always be in balance, girl. Right?
Good girl, kid.
Yes, good girl. So we're going to trot down that, and you're going to hopefully have that lovely over the oxer again. Okay. And then just heels down, eyes up. Yeah.
And straight forward.
Yes. That'll also encourage her to be straighter off the oxer. Okay. She goes a little right shoulder.
Yeah. She coming down this line?
Yes. And then she's making a circle. Lovely with your body. I loved how you brought your hip to your rein. A little straight on your left hand. Drop your feet, lift your hips, turn your toes a little out to wrap your leg. Fabulous! Inside leg to stand her up. Big circle. Lift your hip to your outside rein as your inside leg reaches for the ground and your toe turns out. Push her out a little bit. into your outside rein from your inside leg. There, you feel her stand up more? Then give a little squeeze on that outside rein. Yes, like that. You see how that inside leg on the circle stood her up in your outside rein? Then she takes the half halt better, right? So that again, we're back to inside leg to outside rein, right? And with a thoroughbred, that's just life. Yeah, right? So she was great down the line, and she knew to keep herself straighter there because she had another element coming, right? And then she jumped that last vertical pretty well, right? Like she brought her wither up again, right? And she didn't go flat.
I felt her stay.
Yes, 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 because she learned it from the oxer and then she did it to the vertical. That's what we were hoping for. Yeah. So now we're going to go down this line again. Now, because I sometimes get enthusiastic, if you ever feel like your horse needs a break or something, please let me know. Okay, right? Yeah, right? Yeah. Okay. So you're going to do exactly the same thing, except after you have a nice circle around, you're going to go into a little bit into your corner and come out to this. And then you're going to go left and come back over the oxer. The yellow oxer with the things under it.
Rainbow?
This right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So line, circle, blue, and...
Yes. And then quietly end, right? And so what you're looking for on your circles is what I just walked you through. A little more inside leg, a little stay up off the neck. Feel the outside rein, support with your outside leg on the circles. And then every circle will set you up for the fence out of the turn, and hopefully she won't feel the need to attack so much because she'll have her inside hind more under her. Because you stood her up more with the inside leg, and the outside leg brought the hind leg under the higher wither. So she hopefully won't feel the need to go faster at that point. Now she probably, because she's a little used to it, she probably might think she needs to anyways. And that's when you stretch your hip up and say, "Where are you going?" Right? Yes, stay with me in this lovely rhythm. And then that little squeeze in your fingers on the outside rein like you did over there.
Okay.
So, here we go. Drop into your feet, stretch up to your hand. Lift your tummy to your fingers. Yes, like that. That's brilliant. Notice when you do that how much easier it is to stay in your feet. So much easier. Lift your hip to the outside rein. Keep the rhythm. Soft support from your legs. Stretch up. Stretch up. Inside leg, get your lead. Now lift your hip to the outside rein. Put your shoulders back. Use your inside leg to push her out to your outside rein. Then stay up over your outside leg. Give a little squeeze now and stretch up. Stretch up. Good girl. Now stretch up. Recover her. Get your lead behind. And circle. Now lift your hip forward. Squeeze your outside rein and slow your shoulders down. There. Now stay up to your rein like that. Lift your hip to your rein and stay waiting with your upper body. Awesome. Sit up and whoa. And then slow your post. And ho. So I liked her to the oxer.
Yeah?
Right? Like she pretty much held her rhythm. Right? Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She definitely waited for my ask.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
So instead of taking the bit and accelerating on her forehand, she starts to figure out how to sequence her hind legs in a rhythm to get off the ground by bringing the wither up. And
How was the distance?
fine.
Fine. Okay.
Okay, if you go and you pull up a film, go pull up a film of like one of the Prix Nations in Europe.
Okay.
And you watch the top 5 rounds, I guarantee you that there will be at least 3 or 4 fences on each round that are not a conventional distance
Okay.
with the winning rides. Okay, so anywhere between there and here.
Where's the distance that we're taking?
Right?
Yeah.
See? Like leaving from here is not a problem.
Okay.
Leaving from here is not a problem.
So that's a good window.
Right, because if we worry too much about putting their feet in this perfect spot, we kill the canter to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
There'll be too much adjusting.
Yeah, and instead, what you want to get used to is letting them just come in a beautiful canter and roll up off the ground. Now, I am not one of those people who says don't see a distance, okay? But I am one of those people who says don't bother trying to see a distance on a crappy canter. Get a good canter first, then start seeing the distance out of that.
Okay. No,
Okay.
that makes total sense.
Right? Because if you see a distance from a crappy canter, you'll start making the crappy canter to see the distance. Okay?
You don't want that. That
No,
ruins everything.
no, that top ends your horse, right?
Yeah.
That takes away scope, right?
That's when they'll start to get flat and like short.
Yes,
Shorten that stride.
yes, to hit the perfect distance when the perfect distance isn't important, right? As
perfect
long as
distance
you're
is-
somewhere in that range and you come off the ground well, you're good. As a matter of fact, if we start putting the fences up to here, you want to kick off a little further away, right? Yeah. So having them willing to have any range of motion, any sort of a little bit of range in their takeoff spot, and not always feeling like you have to put them to the perfect distance.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when Fox Pitt makes his gymnastic lines, he puts wrong distances in there.
So you have to adjust?
So the horse has to adjust.
Okay. That's pretty clever.
Yeah. When you go prelim in eventing, there will be one, this is required of the course designer, one non-conventional distance in there. They're required to put one in. That is not the perfect distance between fences.
Is it off of a line or off of, or just like a single?
It'll be some related distance that is not completely conventional. So you have to
Oh, I
make a
didn't
little
know that.
adjustment, right? And that's required of the course designer,
Okay.
right?
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. So, so you want to be able to sort of be a little off, be a little deep, and it's all okay, right? Mm-hmm. So now, is it wonderful if you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and take off in the perfect distance and land in the perfect? Sure, we love that, right? But if it's this much long or this much deep, it's no big,
Okay.
right? And if you worry too much about it, you muck the canter up to get it.
I just felt when we were on the approach to this, she didn't speed up, but I didn't know if I should have like shortened her
No,
off of the rail or
no,
anything. But so
she had
it was
no problem getting off the ground.
Okay, perfect.
So when she gets more volume behind, the strides are going to feel longer,
Oh, totally.
and she's going to roll up off the ground bigger. So you're going to have to open your eye, right, and allow the bigger stride and the bigger takeoff, and actually your distances are going to come up better
Okay.
on the related distances, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely-
Because now they're. I've actually been bitching at people about this, but now they're all on those aggressive distances. They want you to cover the ground. And they say it rewards forward riding, and what I've been saying to them is no, it rewards scope. So if you have a wicked fancy horse, it's great. If you have some tight little thoroughbred you're trying to produce off the track, it makes them run. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I've been telling the people. I'm like, don't assume everybody's on one of Will Coleman's horses. Right?
Yeah.
Now for him it's no big. Anything he rides has scope out the butt. Right? But all of the rest of us human beings, right, we want to not have to kill our horses to make the distances work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally true.
All right,
Go girl kitty.
good.
You like that little pony?
Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing again.
Okay.
Down the line, circle, jump that, come around. It'd be great if you did not have to circle to get that one.
Okay.
Now, off of that, go out over the cancer.
Going away or coming home?
No, coming this way right to it.
With a left or right turn?
You're coming to this oxer,
Oh yeah, out of it.
and you're going directly to that. Bending line.
Oh yeah, but do you want me to come off to the left or come off to the right?
Oh, whatever you want.
Okay.
It's technically it's best to change direction, but I don't care because I think she'll be more fluent if you turn right actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm more concerned with her being fluent than being textbook. Yeah. So you've been doing a fabulous job of dropping into your feet and using your core and being less present with your shoulders.
Yeah, my arms aren't sore.
Hallelujah. Right? So you've been doing a really amazing job of that, and that is really helping your horse. So keep doing that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Your leg is a wet towel. Your chest is a wind sail. Open it so it catches more air. Bring your hips to your rein. Roll your leg in and say, girlfriend, I bet you have a bigger step in that back end. And then stretch up to the jump. Stretch up to it. Good girl. Stretch up. Now stretch up to your outside rein. Inside leg to stand her up in your outside hand. Lift your hip. Stretch up. Steady your outside rein. Now arch your back and squeeze your hands and say steady. Yes, like that. Stay up to your rein. Sit up. Whoa. Good. Good. So that little bit of quickening, you're not going to get rid of that in one sitting. That little, but she's better behind, right? She's using her hind legs more, but that little quickening, like to that vertical there, you can't get rid of that in one set, right? You can. It's better.
It definitely feels 100% better, because even Lauren can attest to it that usually or sometimes, as I'm approaching a fence, she'll lift up, lift up, lift up. I call her giraffe neck. And she hasn't done it once today.
That's because that's a loss of the wither. When she throws her head up like that, but the base of the neck is hollow, she's actually losing her withers to the floor. Okay? So
Yeah.
she's actually falling through her chest towards the ground when she does that. So that is a complete loss of balance when she does that.
Oh, definitely.
So what you're doing with your core and leg is helping her avoid that, because you're bringing your hip forward, you're dropping in your feet. So your whole body is being a lever to her hind end, a fulcrum to teach her how to keep her wither up and her hocks under her a little bit by how you're using your body today is really helping her discover her hind end.
Oh, yeah,
and how to
stay underneath herself.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. And she's really trying to answer the call.
She's very smart and super, super willing.
Well, you see,
So.
you keep riding her like that. She, I think, is beginning to understand, wow, that's easier.
That feels good, actually.
That
I
feels
feel
good,
better.
right? And with a smart mare, you can sell it to them, right? Like with a dumb gelding, they're like, that's more effort, I'm not doing it, right? But with a smart mare, they're like, oh my God, my back doesn't hurt. Right? Like, yeah, right? Like, yeah, and your arms don't hurt, right?
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. So that's because you moved it out of this and into this. Yeah.
I totally feel the difference.
Yeah.
Usually by now my arms are a little sore, but I feel nothing.
Yeah, because you've changed where you're leveraging her out of. Like I said, you have two big bony masses with muscle around them in your body. You're going to use one of them. Use this one.
Maybe that's your seat.
Your low back, yeah, your abs, all of that, instead of your bicep and shoulder blade. Now, if you're out on cross country and the horse starts to take a shine and run off with you, feel free to stick one hand in the neck and do this with the other rein, right?
Yeah, that's like the last resort.
Right, but that's when you want to go to your strength, right? Like that's, everything else has failed. Yeah, right?
Frank.
Yeah, but other than that, you want to keep using your core, your leg, your balance, and say, hey, there you go. And it's almost, and when you do it like to the horse, it's almost like you weren't doing it. It just happened.
It's like second nature.
Yes, because you weren't forcing them to their mouth or really being aggressive with your leg or anything. It's just balance. And balance is this kind of passive-active relationship with the horse, and you just talk them into it because you balanced yourself. So then the mirroring between horse and rider starts to work in your favor. Because you balanced yourself, she balances herself.
Yeah, she is totally with me.
Yes.
Whenever I'm asking. It might take like a squeeze or at least maybe 1 or 2 tries, but then she's like right there.
Right, and that's where I say, well, now give a little squeeze on the outside rein just to say, now you're almost there, steady. And that's that squeeze on the outside rein with your inside leg keeping her back up. And that just, and she steadies and then takes a bigger step behind, and she's like, oh. Right?
Feels good.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Is that Oakley? Yeah. She knows him. That's why she was calling for him. Do you know Oakley? Good girl. This sweaty thing.
How long have we been going?
Probably about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to do too much more because she's going to feel that. Horse is going to feel that in her abs later. I actually don't want to do a ton more because the work you did really worked her middle. And I don't want to make her sore by doing too much.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
But I think you've gotten so much out of today about what you want to do with this horse and how to produce it to even a better quality than it is right now. And you started to feel the answers within your aids. And you were great because when you felt something, you like followed it up. You like, oh, that's interesting here. Like, oh,
Let's do it again.
Yeah. And I love that, right? Because you were playing with what you were feeling. And I love that because that shows that you feel it.
Oh yeah, and it's working.
And it's working and you're recognizing that. I teach a lot of people who can't feel a stone if you put it in their hand. Right? Like, I'm not being detrimental to them, but I'm complimenting you.
Oh, thank you.
Right? So does that all clear?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Clear as day.
Awesome.
That was, I really appreciate it. I like want to cry.
Okay, good.
I think you understand. That's like the best. You know, I mean, she usually will come to me, but this is the first time in a long time that she was actually with me from the get-go.
Yes.
Right. Normally, I mean, she's a good girl and she gets excited. She doesn't do it to be bad, but she like thinks she knows what she's doing and doesn't listen to me.
Well, she's just not there.
What we worked on here, she was like, okay, I'm listening to you, I'm waiting, and then she felt amazing.
Super. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
My
It was
pleasure.
So much fun.
It was fun. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
We're trying to teach a lot of people.
Yeah.